Hey y'all, Eric Adcock, This Awkward Life, back again. You know, this week I sold a little painting. It was I did a series of Mike Tyson Punch-Out characters. I know it's an adult thing. Of Mike Tyson characters. And I sold a Glass Joe. If you're a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out fan, he was the first person you faced. It wasn't very hard to beat. So I painted him and I sold it, and I was just thrilled to have sold it. And as I was filling out the looking at the Etsy account, I may put a link in my on this podcast to my Etsy store. Y'all go buy something. It's becoming Christmas time, and you're going to want to go to my Etsy store and buy some vintage art. But anyway, so I was looking, and I always check the addresses, just for my sake. I just like to see where my artwork is hanging. And the address was on Fifth Avenue in New York. Now, I've never been to New York. I always heard Fifth Avenue is a very uptown, upscale place. So I Google search it, get the Google Maps out, drop on the street view, and it's this huge high-rise apartment. Like, wow, some of my work is going to be hanging in this house or office space or whatever it is. I thought, that's pretty cool. And I've sold artwork all over the country, but nothing on Fifth Avenue in New York. I've sold some things that went to Brooklyn and all around the country. I'm pretty big in Oregon for some reason, but this particular piece of work, little painting, went to Fifth Avenue in New York. I thought that was great. And while I was packing this up, just a little thought in my mind come to mind. It's like, your work, will follow you. Wherever your work goes, your name is on that, And for some reason, I just got to thinking about life and about how we treat people in this world, The way you treat people, let me just back up. If you're going to do anything in life, you want to do anything to be respected in a field that you're in, say you want to be anything, you better learn to treat people right when you're younger. And I tell young people this all the time. If you have a desire, feel a calling to do something in the ministry, whether it's a preacher, an evangelist, a guy that just opens the door at the church, a singer or anybody, especially in your church, don't be a jerk when you're young. Don't be that guy that's picking on other kids and just being a bully. Don't be that. Because what's going to happen is you may still have that calling of God, and when you get to be 19, 20 years old, they're still going to remember you as just being a jerk to them. I've gone to youth camp with kids for years, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't be a bully. Don't do that to them kids, because one day, 'cause I've seen it happen. I'm old enough now to see it happen, to see young men and young women that were just real terrible to people feel a call of God to do something or whatever, and they grow up and people are like, oh, I remember how you made me feel. Yeah, I'm not buying this, You say, well, that's petty, Brother Eric. No, that's human. That's being human. That's the last thing I knew I was human. I don't think I've ever been anything else but human. So your work will follow you. Whatever you put your name on as a young person, or even today, even at 53 years old, if I go out and act a certain way, people always remember that. They say, well, someone's supposed to forgive and forget and all that. People don't. It's very hard for that to happen. People are human. Emotions are real. So your work goes before you. Now, on the flip side of that, if you do good, if you just set it in your mind to do good to people, to be nice to people, to do as much as you can my brother-in-law, Jason Davison, teaches a message called oversowing. I'm not going to steal his message, but if you just oversow good, if you've done bad in the past, just keep oversowing good. But if you haven't done any bad in the past, just keep sowing good. And just realize that your work goes before you. Whatever you do, whatever you say, how you treat people, it'll go before you. It really will. And fortunately, we decide that. You ultimately decide how you treat people. You ultimately decide how you're going to respond when things happen. I'm learning that. Oh, my God, am I learning that? Oh, my God. Anybody knows me knows I've got big feelings, big shoulders, big feelings. And, just your work goes before you. will always be there. You put your name on it. The way you treat people, the way you act, the way you pay your bills, the way you go about your business, the way you go to church, the way you do anything, it goes before you. And like I said, we're only human. That's all we've ever been. Anybody I've ever met's just been human. And, well, in case when I met my wife, she was an angel. Okay, yeah. I'll just, I'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good one.